Hi students, I'm Dr. Bhavna. In this lecture we are going to deal about human health and diseases. So in the last two classes we have started about the human health and diseases. So in human health and diseases, basically we have started what is health, and then we have come to the numerous infectious diseases which affect the human beings mainly. So when we have started with what are the different types of diseases which affects the human beings, we have seen what are the microorganisms which cause the diseases. They are nothing but bacteria, fungi, viruses, protozoans as well as numerous helminths. These all will play a very important role in like transferring numerous human diseases as well as infectious diseases. Infectious diseases, AIDS is the most common. Later in non-infectious diseases, it is nothing but cancer. Cancer plays a very important role. So when we have started with the different types of diseases, basically, we have seen two major types, basically, which are caused by bacteria as well as which are caused by fungi. So what are those which caused by bacteria? It is nothing but typhoid as well as pneumonia. These both are caused by a bacteria. Typhoid is caused by Salmonella typhi, as well as pneumonia is caused by the main organism bacteria, that is nothing but Haemophilus influenza as well as Streptococcus pneumonia. By name only we can understand Streptococcus pneumonia as well as Haemophilus influenza. It is Streptococcus pneumonia, not Staphylococcus. Remember this important neat question. So pneumonia also it will come under bacterial disease. Many will think that it will come under viral disease, but no. Pneumonia, though we are affected by cough as well as cold, but it is a bacterial disease. Haemophilus influenza also plays a very important role along with Streptococcus pneumonia. So typhoid, the normal symptoms only. It's nothing but see, the patients will be suffering from stomach pain, headache, fever, constipation, weakness, and all for typhoid. For pneumonia, again same thing. Like cough, cold, fever, same whatever those for common cold, whatever the symptoms are there, same for pneumonia also. But for the pneumonia, the speciality is nothing but it infects the directly the lungs only, it will go and infect. It will not infect the respiratory passage. It will affect directly the lungs, it will go and affect. The alveoli of the lungs are affected in pneumonia. So about typhoid as well as pneumonia and how it spreads. Mostly typhoid spreads through contaminated food and water, whereas pneumonia you should read it as differences, because differences play a very important role between typhoid and pneumonia. If you remember the symptoms difference as well as how it is contaminated as well as what are the microorganisms, these are the three main important points that you should remember. So for pneumonia especially, what is the one which causes is how it is spread, mostly from the infected person through droplets or else through air. This pneumonia is spread. So these are the two bacterial diseases where, and where is the place it is affected also important. Suppose typhoid will affect the small intestine, whereas pneumonia, by name only we can understand, it will affect the alveoli of the lungs. So these are the two main bacterial diseases which play a very important role. Then we have come to another fungal disease, that is nothing but ringworm disease. What are the microorganisms which cause the fungal diseases? What are the fungi which cause? They are nothing but Microsporum, Trichophyton, or Epidermophyton. Epidermophyton. These are the main Microsporum, Trichophyton as well as Epidermophyton. These all will play an important role in fungal diseases, in causing the fungal diseases. So the skin will appear very dry, scaly lesions. These are the symptoms, dry, scaly lesions, as well as it is characterized by intense itching. You feel so much of intense itching. And where do you see normally? Suppose you see typhoid in the small intestine, pneumonia, lungs, like that fungal diseases mostly between the groin of the toes. Between the toes you see different fingers, you see this, as well as on the scalp. On the scalp you see, or else in the extremities also you see. So mostly these fungal diseases are seen on the skin as well as scalp. So, and heat and moisture, that is heat, so much of heat will help the microorganisms to grow, these fungi to grow. So, this microsporum, epidermophyton, trichophyton are the important neat questions. That is, what are the fungi which cause the ringworm disease are nothing but these three. So, these three fungi also play a very important role. Next, we have come to viral diseases. We have done about bacteria. We have done about fungi. Next, we are dealt with that common cold. Common cold. Normally, everyone in our locality, or we have experienced once or twice that common cold. Once or other time, you have experienced cold. Frequently, due to change of seasons, you all will experience a common cold. So where it is seen generally, same, it affects the nose as well as the respiratory pathway it will affect, but not the lungs. Lungs is exclusively for pneumonia, important neat question, which will affect only the nose as well as the respiratory tract is nothing but the common cold which affects. So what is the use of this common cold basically? Like it will affect the mainly the you see it will affect the nose as well as respiratory passage. How it is transmitted from one person? Same like pneumonia only. It is usually spread through droplets or air or some disease you will affect from the infected person only. And how these fungal diseases are spread? When you walk on the soil barefoot, if you walk on the soil, or some by using the towels and all from the infected person also, these fungi are affected. When it comes to that of common cold, basically, this common cold is also spread through droplets of air or from infected person. So those who are suffering from common cold and all, you should be somewhat take precautions by not touching them frequently or something, or not spending so much of time, because it is easily transmitted from one person to another. It usually lasts for 3 to 7 days. Rest all diseases, it will take some time till you take some medications and all. These will have their effect basically. But when you come to that of common cold, basically, so common cold usually it is 7 days, 3 to 7 days. If you take medicines or if you don't take medicines also, it will subside. Common cold, and it is caused by viruses. So that's why it is classified under viral infections. It is caused by a group of viruses that is called as rhinoviruses. Important neat question. Which viruses will cause common cold? They'll give you numerous different types of viruses. The answer is rhinoviruses. So this is about the bacteria, fungi as well as the viruses. Still we are left over with protozoans. So mainly when you come to protozoans, first one is main disease which is affected is malaria. Malaria. Malaria is usually caused by parasite, that is a protozoan parasite, that is nothing but plasmodium. Plasmodium. So plasmodium, again it is divided into four types. That is nothing but plasmodium vivax, plasmodium malaria, plasmodium ovale as well as falciparum. Four different types. Malaria, ovale, falciparum as well as you see malaria, Plasmodium malaria, ovale, falciparum, as well as vivax, Plasmodium vivax. So these are the four different types of which will cause malaria, four different types of protozoans which cause malaria. But the most fatal, that is, it leads to death also, and it is highly dangerous, is nothing but important NEET question. Plasmodium falciparum will cause the dangerous disease and it is highly fatal. So this is about the Plasmodium falciparum. Then later, another important question here which is asked. Usually you see which is the vector. Vector is nothing but the mosquito, the female Anopheles mosquito will cause malaria. But the what are the parasites, that is protozoans, which help is nothing but Plasmodium. So there is a differentiation. Everyone should clearly understand what is the differentiation. You all will think female Anopheles mosquito will bite. But what are those which will cause the malaria is nothing but the protozoan parasites, that is nothing but Plasmodium. Plasmodium will complete its life cycle in two hosts basically. First is in man as well as in mosquito. Two hosts play a very important role. Man as well as mosquito. So we have discussed about the what are those which cause the malaria. So first initially there is the bite of the mosquito basically when the infected female Anopheles mosquito will go and bite the infected person. All those sporozoites will enter its body. Then later again it will come and affect the other normal healthy individual, it will go and affect. So this mosquito, when it will go and affect the normal healthy individual, first they will go to the liver cells. Liver cells. What will go? These parasites, these Plasmodium parasites will release the sporozoites. Will release the sporozoites. So the infective stage to man from the mosquito is nothing but infective stage is sporozoites. Important NEET question. So it will transfer into the numerous liver cells. So in the liver cells basically from the liver cells again it will enter into RBCs. There again they will multiply. These RBCs will rupture. See, that's why you see high fever and chills in those of patients who are suffering from malaria. For every 3 to 4 days they'll get high fever and they will be suffering from chills also, very cold also it will be for them. So there will be destruction of RBC. When RBCs are destroyed, a pigment is released. What is present in RBC basically? Hemoglobin is only present. So hemozoin pigment is released. This hemozoin pigment only will cause high fever as well as tiredness, weakness, and every 3 to 4 days high temperature as well as the patient will be shivering very vigorously. So this from the RBC again they are transferred. So in the RBC they will stay. If numerous medicines are given to the patient, again the patient will become normal. Sometimes it is highly fatal if many RBCs are destroyed. Then later from the RBCs, again there will be bite from the infected person. So the another mosquito will come and bite the infected person. Now this person is infected. So the Anopheles mosquito will come and bite this person. When it comes and bite this person, again the sporozoites which are present in the RBCs, they are transformed into gametocytes, and they are transferred back to the mosquito. Simple life cycle, back to the mosquito. So the infective stage to the mosquito is nothing but gametocytes. Infective stage to the man is sporozoites. Infective stage to the mosquitoes is nothing but gametocytes. So they will go and affect the mosquito again back. So in the mosquito again in the salivary glands, these sporozoids will multiply in the salivary glands. Later again they are transferred into the abdomen of the mosquito, from the salivary glands to the abdomen. Mostly first in the abdomen, then into salivary glands, the numerous sporozoids will be transferred. And again from the salivary glands, they are transferred back to a healthy individual. Like this life cycle will be going on. These sporozoids are nothing but those which are released from this protozoan parasite, that is nothing but plasmodium. That's why in the initial stage I have told you that it will require two hosts for its replication and propagation. So what are the two hosts? That is nothing but first is mosquito, then is man. So see, it's completing its life cycle in liver cells as well as RBC of man, and in the mosquito it is completing its life cycle in salivary glands as well as abdomen of the mosquito. So it is requiring, so it is a highly protozoan parasite. So this is the main description regarding the malaria. So this is called by a parasite protozoan, that is nothing but plasmodium. So this is the first disease which is associated with protozoan. No need to get so much confused regarding this. Simply symptoms of malaria means you can write fever, chills, as well as you see high temperatures, you see, as well as you see numerous, sometimes when it is fatal, full destruction of RBC and all you see. Otherwise, how it is transmitted means it is transmitted through this mosquito itself. So that is the mode of transmission. Then which is the parasite which is causing protozoan is nothing but plasmodium. So these are the three main important points, and where it will generally affect. We know first it will affect the liver cells, then it will affect the RBCs. So these are the main symptoms which are associated with the first protozoan parasite, that is nothing but plasmodium. Next, rest three of the protozoan parasites are left over. Then another important neat question which is frequently asked is nothing but amoebiasis, a disease called as amoebiasis. A disease called as amoebiasis is caused by Entamoeba histolytica. Entamoeba histolytica. This is also a protozoan parasite only. I told you 5 types. Bacteria we have done, fungi we have done, viruses we have done. Now we are going into protozoans. So protozoans amoebiasis is caused by Entamoeba histolytica. Now houseflies you see daily in your community. They act as carriers in transmitting this disease, and it is also transmitted through contaminated food and water. So contaminated food as well as water, contaminated food and water, and contaminated food and water as well as house flies. They act as mechanical vectors in transmitting the disease. So this is the first one is protozoan is Entamoeba histolytica and how it is spread. Next we will come to what are the symptoms which are associated with it. Constipation. Symptoms which are associated are constipation. That is, there is a feeling of indigestion for the people suffering from amoebiasis. So there is constipation as well as abdominal pain. Severe stomach pain will be there, as well as constipation will be there. Then next, what are the other features? High fever will be there, fever. And the mucus with the blood, stools with blood and mucus. Stools with the blood and mucus, with blood as well as mucus. So these are the main four symptoms which you should remember. Normal fever is there, and constipation, abdominal pain, stools with blood and mucus. Where it will generally affect? It will generally affect the large intestine. Large intestine is generally affected. What is the use of large intestine? It helps in restoring the water as well as excreting of waste products also will take place. Absorption of water will be taking place. So here the in the large intestine only they will multiply. First disease which we have seen, typhoid, that is small intestine. When it comes to amoebiasis, it is nothing but large intestine. So these are the main things which are associated with that of amoebiasis. No need to get so much confused regarding this. Simple again 4 points which you should remember for amoebiasis. It is nothing but it is caused by entamoeba histolytica, first protozoan parasite. Malaria is caused by plasmodium. Amoebiasis is caused by name only we can understand, entamoeba histolytica. Then it is usually spread through contaminated food and water, as well as house flies, which you see will act as a mechanical carriers in transmitting the disease. Next, the main symptoms which are associated with the high fever will be there, full stomach pain, abdominal pain will be there, then a fever will be there, then stools with blood and mucus, full of blood and mucus. Then only if you anyone see these symptoms, then you should go and get tested for amoebiasis. That is, if you have severe stomach pain or when you have fever or stools with blood and mucus, then there is some parasite which is residing in you. So this is about that. And where it generally affects, it usually affects the large intestine. So this is about the main protozoan disease, that is nothing but amoebiasis. Next, we have done with the two protozoans, two bacterial, fungal, one viral, and then now we are going into helminths. Helminths means nothing but roundworm, as well as you see roundworm, Wuchereria, filarial worms and all. Next, so this is about the protozoans. Next we are going with helminths. When we start with helminths, parasite basically. So what are those which cause? They are nothing but ascariasis. Just now what we have done is amoebiasis, that is different, and ascariasis is different. Then another one is Wuchereria. Ascariasis as well as Wuchereria. So basically ascariasis is caused by a roundworm which is nothing but ascaris. Ascaris is a roundworm. This is the helminth which causes ascariasis. Then what are the symptoms which are associated with this? The symptoms which are associated with ascariasis is nothing but there will be severe internal bleeding. Symptoms. Internal bleeding, muscle pain, weakness, then loss of appetite, internal bleeding, muscle pain will be there, muscles will be severely paining for them, as well as there will be severe internal bleeding. Then weakness will be there for all of that ascariasis, as well as loss of appetite. See, there will be mostly similar features for that of ascariasis as well as amoebiasis, both, because both are will affect the intestine only. Here also for ascariasis, intestine is affected. Intestine. Small intestine is usually affected. For amoebiasis, that is nothing but large intestine is affected. For ascariasis, it is the one small intestine which is affected. So small intestine is affected. Symptoms also, in the intestine only there will be internal bleeding, muscle pain will be there, weakness as well as loss of appetite. Numerous things are associated, severe stomach pain. Still, numerous symptoms would be there, but main symptoms only I am concentrating for you to easily understand. So, these are the main symptoms, and how it is spread from one person to another. It is usually spread through contaminated food and water. It is usually spread through contaminated food and water. Contaminated food and water will cause ascariasis. But when it comes to Wuchereria, so these are the main symptoms which are associated with that of ascariasis. Again, same method we follow. What is the protozoan parasite or element which causes the ascariasis? Is nothing but ascaris. The name only we can understand. Means what are the symptoms? Severe internal bleeding, muscle pain, as well as weakness, as well as loss of appetite. See, they'll give you in neat numerous symptoms and ask you to identify the disease. If they ask stools with blood and mucus, stomach pain and all, it is entamoeba, that is amoebiasis. If they ask you there is severe internal bleeding, a person is suffering from severe internal bleeding, muscle pain, weakness, then what is the disease he is suffering from? Like this neat questions they'll ask. So it is nothing but ascariasis. Then when you come to which part it is affecting, it is nothing but intestine it is affecting. Then later how it is usually spread. It is usually spread through contaminated food and water. If you consume lots and lots of contaminated food and water, this ascariasis will easily transmitted through feces also. The eggs which are produced by this ascaris, they are contaminated in the food and water, and they are transferred from one person to another. So you should be very careful and drink the pure water as well as eat very healthy food. So this is about the ascariasis. Then the last disease which we are going to deal is Wuchereria. Wuchereria. So Wuchereria bancrofti will cause a disease which is called as elephantiasis. This is the main disease of helminthes because this is spread by the parasite that is nothing but Wuchereria bancrofti. What is the regarding this elephantiasis? One leg in the normal humans, it will resemble the elephant leg. Why it will resemble the elephant leg? Due to chronic inflammation of lower limbs. Chronic inflammation. Inflammation of lower limbs. Chronic inflammation of lower limbs means their full fluid gets accumulated with these numerous helminthes, these protozoan parasites. It is filled with the fluid as well as these protozoans also get accumulated in the limbs. Only one limb is usually affected for those who are suffering from elephantiasis. So it will resemble the leg of the elephant. How it is transmitted from one person to another? It's transmitted through again the mosquito, that is nothing but female Anopheles mosquito. Mosquito helps in transferring. Houseflies in Entamoeba histolytica will just act as a carriers, but here mosquito only will cause the disease like that of malaria. So chronic inflammation as well as near the extremities also it will affect. Mostly only one side of the limb is affected in this elephantiasis, And how it is spread means it is spread only through the mosquito. So again, three important points which you should remember is elephantiasis means chronic inflammation of the lower limbs, full inflammation, and it gets filled with the fluid, and the leg will enlarge in size. It will resemble that of an elephant, and it is usually caused by Wuchereria bancrofti, which is a filarial worm. It is a filarial worm. It gets fully accumulated in this, and how it is spread is usually through mosquito. What are the symptoms means there will be severe pain in the lower limbs, and the person cannot move from one place to another. This is the main thing, symptom which you should remember. That is nothing but he cannot move from one place to another, as well as there will be severe pain which is associated, and the lower limbs will get filled with the fluid. So this is about the numerous all diseases we have covered: bacterial, fungal, viral, protozoan, as well as helminths. Important and neat point of view: read once or twice to remember the symptoms, as well as remember how it usually spreads. So this is about today's topic. In the next class we are going to continue about the immunity.